And then I got to Platinum 5, and then I just got hard stuck. I mean, it was like instantly. Like, I've been to my Plat 4 promos twice, but I lost both of them. And yeah, now you can see my MMR. My MMR was like Plat 3, but I don't know, something happened. I don't know what I started doing differently, but I just started losing real hard. I was climbing with Tristan and Saber, and I kept playing it and kept playing it, but then I just started losing until I got like a 30% win rate with them, and it just started going downhill. I've been trying to focus on my laning phase a lot because I feel like that's one of my weakest spots. And now I feel like I'm almost over. I felt like I was under aggressive before. Now I feel like I'm almost over aggressive.
Interesting, interesting. So basically, you had like really quick improvement, like a really quick rise, like gold 5 to platinum 5. That's like impressive, right? And then it's like now it's like, wait, what's stopping you from going further, right?
Right. And
and then
I'm not saying it's the elo because I know it's me. It's like, I've had more trolls recently, but I still have had a lot of games. I'm like, I don't know why I couldn't carry that.
I see, I see. All right, good, good, good. Then we can definitely put an emphasis on the laning phase. These are some nice kitty A's, by the way.
Yeah, that's what's upsetting to me.
Interesting, interesting. All right, and then so do you send me this? Sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, like, this is also like one of my. I hate playing against Draven. Like, that's my #1 weakness, just because he has such a strong laning phase. And I half the time I feel like I just kind of like give up laning phase to just play against him. I just don't know what to do against it.
I see. So when you see this like matchup, like this Xayah Tarek versus Draven Sona, what are your like first thoughts? Like, what are you thinking? You're loading into.
I cannot win any 1v1 trade against him.
Right.
If I'm gonna trade with him at all, it needs to be like when the support's not there and my support is, or it has to be to a gank. And I know like a lot of people at high elo say that you should camp a Draven as a jungler. So I'm hoping that my jungler comes a lot, but I mean I just honestly don't really know how to play into Draven. I've just never really understood that.
So the first thing to note is that when you're have like a hard matchup or like a losing matchup, right? And then you're like, oh, I need my jungler to be here in solo queue. Pretend like you don't have a jungler unless they're like actively ganking your lane, right?
Right.
Because there's nothing Wukong can do until like level 6, right?
Right.
Realistically speaking, unless everyone's like 20 HP or something, that would be a really weird situation. But generally speaking, it's like pretend your jungler isn't like coming, especially in like solo queue nowadays. Everyone's like leash me bot, so they always go topside, right? So the first thing to note is that like you're on your own. But anyways, let's talk about the level 1. Okay, so what's the like you said like when you see this lane, you're like, okay, you can't trade Draven because he hurts like hell, right? And there's nothing you can do.
Right.
What about like what kind of lanes are we looking at pre-6? Like, do they have sustain? Do we have sustain? Who has CC? Can you tell me like
we have like a little bit of sustain, but it's hardly anything because it's Tarek. We're more hard engage and like all in fights, especially when we hit 6. But pre-6, it's mostly like Tarek doesn't offer a whole lot pre-6 where they have a lot of sustain. So even trading with them, and I know I take a really bad trade here that I shouldn't have. But like trading with them, it's even more not worth it now because Sona's just going to heal him up afterwards, and Tarek can't really do that.
Right. So like you said, basically never trade, right? Unless you see an opportunity for some like all-in kind of big trade potential. Like, so basically don't take small trades, right? Because the only way you win any kind of fight is like you root him and then like you get a stun off, right? So anything that's like anything. So like from the get-go, we should know that you never want to walk up. Right, you never want to walk up unless they're gonna be tanking minions or something, right? So the argument is you don't walk up for Sona to Q auto attack, right? Because that's the trading damage. And then what do you? The question is, what do you do if she just walks up all the way? Well, then you let her hit you, and then Tarek stuns her, and she tanks minions. So that should be the strategy here. But,
okay.
The first thing to note is that if you have this kind of idea in mind, then you would know not to walk up and give up the level 2, right? Unless you got to lane first, but you didn't get to lane first. So you should know that unless they do something,
just basically give up all those first minions, just like not even worry about it because they're contesting them.
Well, it's not necessarily you sit here and watch them. You just like, oh, maybe you can look for it and then draw Sona in, right? She might overextend and then eat like a Taric stun, for example. Like the situation we discussed earlier when if she tanks minions and then eats the stun, that's gonna be like a heal or something.
Because he took heal level 1.
Oh, he did? Oh, Taric did? Oh, yeah. And in that case, you just can't do anything. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe yeah, you put. I mean, I don't know, like, what the hell? Like, what does this heal do? Let me see. How much heal is this? It's like,
hold on, I can look it up.
It's fucking. It's not good, right? It's just. It's useless. Yeah, is what we say.
Yeah, basically.
Useless. So, definitely don't walk up. No, you definitely don't want to walk up then. Basically, whenever you need. Okay, this is like a very. I don't want to call it a noob trap, but it's like a very common trap. When you do something that you know you shouldn't do, but you do it because you didn't think about it. If that made any sense at all, right? So say you are teaching like a lower rank, like you're teaching a bronze player, and then he gets hooked by Blitzcrank, right? And you're like, oh, dude, don't get hooked. And he's like, yeah, I know I shouldn't get hooked, but and then you say, oh, this is how you do it, right? So you shouldn't take the shades. This is how you do it. Don't walk up into auto attack range until you have like your plan in mind, right? So the plan. So like the goal of this lane, you should always have like a goal for your laning phase, right? That will tell you not to walk up and like fight for the level 1, level 2, right? Because the reason why we discuss this so much already is because you've already lost lane, right?
Right.
In like a minute. So that's how you avoid. First, you must like avoid losing before you can even think about winning. So the way you lose is that you take too many trades and they out-sustain you. Exactly what you said. Exactly what you said. The way they lose is if they walk up and like eat a stun and take like max damage or something like that, right? They get all in by a Taric stun, and then you guys focus Draven. That's how they lose, right? And then say honestly, that's never gonna. That's usually not gonna happen, right? You guys aren't gonna win 2v2. So, at what point do you win? Like do you outscale or like, what's the benefit of this lane? Can you tell me?
I've only played Draven a few times, so I don't really know everything about him, but my understanding is that we're probably going to be better team fighting wise. I mean, but the problem is that we have like a Singed and a Fizz who are pick comp, so I guess we might have to play like a rotation game.
Right, you guys are really good at like, you have like a lot of CC and like Taric ult is like super clutch, right? So that's like your, that's kind of your what's it called? Your strength, I guess you would call it. Yeah, you have the root and you have like the Taric CC and all. Also, what's going on in the jungle or in the river? So this is really clean, right? This guy's gonna die. I hope. You should heal. You should heal for this. Oh, this is awkward.
I end up healing him, but he gets
Okay, let's watch this. What happened here? So when we see some shit go down in the river, your Taric's like, oh, I think Sona's leaving. Or I think Sona's not here, and then
I get knocked back by a T.
That's fine. Honestly, you can like can say you should flash it, but you got the root off, which is like what you're supposed to do. I think this is like fine, not ideal, but you got a lot of damage off. Oh, you guys just keep going. Oh, you're gonna kill this guy. Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah.
How come you didn't want to
we end up getting both of his. I don't think we get both of his summers. I don't think he healed, but
yeah, he must have healed in the beginning.
I mean, we pushed him out of lane, so I was okay with that.
Okay, fair. Maybe he didn't heal this whole time. Yeah, he definitely he did. It's fine. Yeah. Honestly, like missed kills are less important than like throwing the game, if that makes any sense. So we don't really worry about that too much. But it's like an opportunity that you could have taken. So okay, so after that happened, what is your stop? What are you thinking now?
Now I'm thinking that Sona's not going to be here to sustain him, so I should go ahead and push it in because he can't really fight us because he's so low, and then take the free back.
Right. So push in and then back.
The other option would be to freeze it, but I already have more mage minions, so it's going to push naturally.
Impossible to freeze in this situation, right? So pushing back is what I think as well.
I mean, could you possibly just kind of freeze it to make a big wave, and then back when the big wave crashes, or do you think that's just like gonna take too long?
That would take a super long time. That's not, I don't think that's don't do that. So pushing them back is like the right call in my opinion. And then you can like get a preferential buy on him because what did he get? I don't even know. Like not, he didn't really have any
like
money.
a longsword boots or something like that. I can't remember.
He got like a longsword, so
yeah,
you're gonna have damage on him now, so that's good. Super weird shit that went up in the jungle or mid lane, whatever. Interesting, but you have his sums, right? So now you know that he's vulnerable to ganks, or rather that he should be scared when he's on your side of the river. So same thing, right? Nothing's changed, right? You don't want to take trades unless you think you can out heal for whatever reason. I don't know. Target heal can be kind of juicy, but basically
you just stack it.
Yeah. You play super defensive. You don't want to like trade against the Sona heal and stuff, right? And you just wait. So like that's fine. That is a-okay. Don't take the Sona auto attack though, right? Because like her Q did like 50 damage. We don't care about that. That's fine.
Her auto is gonna hurt though.
Exactly. And the Draven auto. So those are the two things you worry about. And you say, wait, what do I do if Draven just walks up to me? Then you do Q auto attack root, right? And you trade him when he does one auto attack. So so Sona's gonna go word whatever. Somehow the quality like dipped here. So why do you use Q in lane? I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I'm just like, what's the reasoning?
I was thinking that like they're gonna be pushing into tower. I'm not expecting to use my root anytime necessarily soon. Unless they do something like this.
Right there. Yeah. There was an opportunity there. So basically, every time you use an ability, you need a super good reason for it. Right?
Okay.
And it sounds super like strict or like unreasonable, but it kind of makes sense because every time you use an ability and you kind of waste it, that's like you have zero pressure from, you got no value basically. You got no value from the ability. So here, if you wanted to put the feathers here, you should position yourself in a way to put another feather so Draven can't like walk down, for example. Like this could be like a good cue, like to Zona to try and like pressure him when he's trying to last at these minions. But that's like what you need to have in mind when you throw it out, right? When in doubt, do not use abilities when in doubt. Like that's the hard thing for people to do is not use abilities, right? Because most people are just like waste and miss, or they'll feel pressured so they use it immediately. When in doubt, you always want to save it until you can figure out when exactly you need to use it, right? Because that could have been a kill on the Sona or something. Let me see. This guy, like, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier with the level 1. Like, he walks up, tanks minions, he eats a stun, and then you guys can kill him. But
I was also kind of afraid of the giant minion wave that was there.
Right. But
like, I didn't want to
think about how fast it takes to kill Sona, right? Okay. This is like a Q flash W auto E, right? And then he's dead. So it's like, it's true that they have a lot of minions, but this only becomes a factor when you're in the wave.
Extended trade as well.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So remember, first thing for like mechanics wise is when in doubt, save your abilities, right? Because Xayah is like not an easy champion to play in terms of like using your Q and your W correctly, right? Like here, right? What's the reasoning behind that one?
I was trying to clear the wave, but I probably shouldn't have done that.
Right, because now even if Tark stuns, you can't root easily, right?
Right.
So it's like that's the thing, right? So whenever you watch like streamers, right, and they play bot lane, they fight 2v2, their support misses an ability, and then they go in, they're like, wait, why did we lose that? It's because they went in without like their supports. When their support missed something and they went in, you're gonna lose, of course, right? So say Janna like wastes a shield, and then you try and fight. Yeah, sure, Janna like had a really bad shield, but at the same time, you shouldn't have gone in, right? So in this case, it'd be you wasted your Q, so Tark cannot go in no matter what, right? Okay. So basically, you're limiting your. Not only are you like limiting yourself in being able to do stuff, you're also limiting your support, right? There's too many people, and then if you have like your jungle and mid laner around, then it also kind of screws them over too, right? Like say, like here's a better example. Okay, so a team fight breaks out, and Orianna misses her ultimate, right? It's like the same concept that she screwed up, but
just on a smaller scale.
Yeah, exactly. Just on a huge scale, right? She screwed up, and now the team can't go in because they don't have ultimate. I see same thing here, right? You missed a stun, like I don't know what that was. Can't go in. But now you can't go in, right? So try and limit your own low value abilities. Like try and get as much value from every ability, right? Otherwise, you can't do anything. And then the reason why we say you save it when in doubt is because if you have it up, then you can always use it, right? It's always available when you need it.
It's more of a threat. Like, it's something that they'll see that they'll know he can't use it now.
Right, exactly.
And
so
I should have flashed here.
Well, the thing to note here is not that you should have flashed. Is what?
That I went for a trade.
Right. Because
without
even if you
support.
flash here, that's still a bad result, right? Even if you flash here, it doesn't make this any better, unless it's like a huge bait and then you guys kill him. But
would it have been okay if after I rooted, I didn't go for the extra auto, I just left, like right here, if I just walked away?
Yeah, of course, right? Because if we talk about so how does Xayah do damage?
With her E.
Right, and then there's another way. There's another very important way that Xayah does damage.
The stacked feathers?
No. So when Xayah presses W, when she has like 2-3 items, that can like 3-shot people, right? Yeah. So her W is a huge part of her damage, and then her root. Okay, outside of that, you have barely any damage, right? You consider that to be, you consider that to be like a non-factor, right? Sometimes it matters, right? Your Q does a little bit of damage, and your ult does a little bit of damage. Most of the time, it's your W and your E, right? So anytime you use those abilities, and then they're not dead, you stop fighting, right? You can't chase because they haven't used theirs yet, right? And then they use theirs, and then your turret can't come in time, and then there's nothing you can do, right? So basically you should know not only like how do I want to play this lane out, it's also how does my champion fight, right? If I don't have XYZ, then I can't fight. Or if I do have XYZ, I can fight, right? So if this guy was a Xayah man and he's playing Draven and he sees you use feathers on the minion wave that's not near him, then he knows he can go in, right?
Right.
So we have to think along those lines. This could have been a good trade if you didn't keep going, right? So be very careful about that. Like, because remember the game plan. What was the game plan earlier? Don't trade with them, unless you see Tariq land a stun or something, right? So it's still the same thing, right? It's like one fix is figure out how you want to play the lane phase, and then make sure you stick to that the whole time. And then sometimes lane phase changes at level 6, right? So update that accordingly. But it's still the same mistake, so to speak. So it's good that it's not like completely different mistake. So it's easy fix, right? Think about how you want to play the lane phase, and that should not change unless something big happens, right? So what's an example of something big happens? Like
like 3 kills or
when you have a massive like item advantage, right? That could be one way. You could be like
or maybe like the jungler shows up, or
right,
I mean,
when
like,
you have a mana
things
advantage.
like that. Yeah, okay.
Right, exactly, right? When you have a gank coming, then you could be like, I'm playing stupid on purpose and I'm baiting them, and then sometimes they'll fall for the bait and they'll die, right? So those if you can't think of any kind of other advantage like that, then you can't misplay the lane phase, if that makes any sense, right? So this guy's just gonna die. I don't know what he's doing.
I don't think he does. Yeah, I think
he didn't go for the kill. I think he should have just suicide for that. He's got a Draven passive going.
I mean, he just got it on me. He didn't have much of a passive after getting me.
You're right.
Yeah.
A good thing Tariq lived, I guess. And then here. So what's one thing to note about? If I say this is a mistake, why would I say that?
Because I use my E and I can't use it on anyone else. I was thinking it was fine because the only person that was going to be there was the jungler. And I wasn't too worried about being killed solo by the jungler, and I just wanted to push it in for the Draven, but I guess, I should have saved it anyways.
It's not about... so when you really want to push a lane, using your abilities to push it is good value, is what we would say, right? So say you're playing Xayah, right? And then you say you really need to push this into tower, so using abilities to push it in and leave, knowing that you're not going to fight because you have no abilities, is good value. But the problem is that if you push this in, the reason why I'm worried about this push is because is this going to reach the enemy tower?
I don't think so now. I think now it's too late. Yeah.
Right. It's basically the worst case scenario is that they just freeze it outside their tower, and then due to the way we want to play the lane, we can't walk up, right? Because then they take a trade, and then you guys want to run away, but then you can't because right. So they want to take a trade, and then your reaction is, we want to go for the Taric stun, but then the jungler could be here. So this is too far up the lane, basically. So I'm a little worried about this push, but right, because the jungler could be. I don't even know who the jungler is. What is it, Kayn?
Kayn.
Okay, so that's a little bit okay, right? Because what can Kayn do? You do get the push off, so there is that. But what are there any alternatives you can do besides pushing
I could have just froze it.
Right. Just last hit, right?
Yeah.
So one like general rule we came up with is for your abilities is when in doubt, hold on to your abilities, right? When in doubt. And then another rule we can add for minion waves is when in doubt, just last hit it, right? When in doubt, just last hit it, because it's hard to screw yourself over by last hitting, but it's very easy to do that when you're pushing.
Pushing.
Right? But you do get it off, which is good. Clear wards in the river. Gonna go ward shit. Break their plant. That's good. And then you guys have to play super safe now, because now you definitely don't win trades.
Yeah.
You probably don't win all. So going for this is probably super scary, right? You're just gonna turn around and kill you guys. You gotta run, right? Okay, that was good. Now you know that you need to run there. But yeah, basically this lane is pretty sad. You just gotta play super safe. Try and farm it out, basically. So the way you like beat Draven, or honestly, the way you just like play Xayah in general is like you try and like root them, obviously, right?
Right.
And so anything that doesn't involve that kind of plan is probably a rip.
Taric is apparently very upset now. He's like spam pinging the jungler.
Oh, what the fuck? That's awkward. Yeah. There's nothing, you guys. He's pinging forward. Fizz doesn't have ult. This is probably gonna fail unless you land literally every ability on Draven, and even then, I'm worried this Son is about to hit level 6. So we'll see what happens. But oh, here we go. Kayn's. Oh, that's too far. So yeah, this is pretty rip. That's awkward. Not really your fault, right? You didn't really call for this roam, but yeah, that's kind of awkward. So yeah, so the fallout
is really awkward right here.
Yeah. Basically, the fallout of like, you're right in that laning is important, and that you should definitely work on it, because laning can impact like literally every other lane, right? If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I say like, oh, drawing jungle pressure or drawing mid pressure is super important, because it means your jungler is going to win or your mid laner is going to win. So if Fizz comes for this roam without his ultimate and he doesn't get anything, then
the Veigar
yeah. And what happens when Veigar is like scaling for free? It's like everyone's going to be super tilted when he one-shots you with ult or something like that, right? It's pretty annoying. So yeah, Veigar got like a bunch of CS for free without being pressured, etc., etc. This is fallout, basically, to like all this stuff that's happening. So yeah, he's just gonna push you guys in. So basically, this whole replay, I would say, is all about the laning phase, right? And the real big mistakes that you made were like not. We don't really have to worry about the mechanics part of it as much as we do about the what do you think you should be doing part of it, right? So the mechanics part is like using your abilities for high value every time, not missing abilities, whatever. It wasn't that bad, right? It was just like, okay, think about when you want to use Q. You had good roots off, right? Etc., etc. It was more about, you know, how do I want to play this lane? You told me right now. You literally told me before we started the lane phase. And then keep that in your mind the whole time. That does not change unless something big happens, right? That should not change. And then if you're wrong about how you like wanted to play the lane, like say you didn't know the matchup well enough, then you know for next time, right? Or you can like, what I do sometimes, I like Google, you know, how do I beat XYZ champion to give me ideas. But yeah, keep that in mind, right? That's like one of the hardest things to do in League is keep what your plan is. Like think about your plan and then like don't deviate from it unless something happens, right? Don't deviate from the plan, right? But the important thing is to like come up with it first in the loading screen, right? Because then I'll prevent all this from happening, right? We took like you like walked up a bunch like randomly and it didn't make any sense according to what you said. So if you can prevent that from happening, I think we'll see like a very different lane phase play out. So yeah, Cizo, your Tyric's getting pressured, and then now it's just like you can't do anything. He's so tilted. Holy shit, that's so funny. Oh, okay, this is a thorough. Oh no.
Yeah, I got stunned, so I didn't get the heal off, but we did kill him.
Okay.
I should have healed earlier.
Interesting. Okay, let's watch this again. What the hell? It's good that you don't walk up here because this is never gonna work, right? But remember, save your feathers, right? We already talked about that, so you know now.
Are they not okay where they are? Because I felt like if it was in a kind of threatening spot.
Right. But you can always hold on to it.
Okay,
so, do you know how to do the QE combo when you like send it out and then recall them immediately?
Yeah, you can actually do it even faster if you QWE.
Oh, really? QWE?
Yeah, you can cancel your Q animation with your W.
Interesting. I need to write that down. Hold on. I didn't know that. Okay. I got to remember that. Anyways, but that's like so the reason why I bring this up is cuz there is a very fast way to apply this pressure and they don't even know about it, right? And that doesn't involve like throwing this out immediately. But maybe if your reasoning is I need to throw out more feathers with my auto attack, then that's fine, right? But you need to have a reason, right? Did you think about anything when you threw that out, right? Is the question.
Right.
Usually the answer is no. Like if you ever watch a Vayne player that uses their Q like randomly, you're like that's like Vayne spotting, right?
Right.
So yeah. I'd say relatively well played though. They kind of threw. Although I don't know why everyone's here. This is like really awkward. Okay. What's wrong here?
I'm low, but I think I saw Kane somewhere, and that's why I felt like I could push. I think I did, but I can't remember. I have no idea what Kane is.
I
can't remember what my reasoning was, but for some reason I thought that Kane was not there, so I kind of min-maxed. Okay, so he was bot side, but I think I was gonna back. Okay, so I was gonna push one wave because I had vision in the tri-bush, and I know he couldn't reach me before then. But then I see him up in the river. I was gonna back right here.
This is a good back, right? This would be good enough back, right? So,
but I see Kane then, and I guess I decided that I should push again. I can go ahead and push more.
Right, but don't you think that like Draven's coming back, right?
Sona.
Sona, Draven. Honestly, you can't. You basically it doesn't matter what kind of wave this is. You can't push this fast enough, right? You just have no mana. So I'm surprised that they're like not stopping you or anything. But be very Be very cautious when you don't have enough mana to push, right? Like if you're playing Xayah and you have 0 mana and a new wave has come, you should be like super cautious because it's gonna take you a very long time to kill that wave. But it looks like you didn't get punished, so we won't worry about that too much.
I was pretty sure Draven wasn't gonna make it back in time. I was more worried about the mid and jungle and that situation.
Okay. So back to this. Does this lane dynamic change at level 6? So does it change at level 6?
A little bit, but not much. I mean, the R is only really good for kiting backwards. So if they're chasing me down and we're all-inning, like having a weird all-in backwards, like they're trying to run us down, it's good, but I still can't run at them.
Why do you say you can't run at them?
Because my feathers, Xayah's really good at kiting backwards, but her feathers are basically useless if you're trying to chase someone, unless you get a Q auto E.
So it doesn't change. So what you're saying is that you don't think it changes the level 6 doesn't change the way you guys fight, right? Or the way you guys play out this lane.
Right.
So you still don't want to trade. And you still have maybe all-in potential if Tariq lands stun, right? Okay, hold on. What's going on here? What the? Oh, okay. So one thing to keep in mind is that when you get your level 6, okay, that was really good. But one thing to keep in mind is that when you get your level 6, is you want to target. We're gonna talk about Xayah specifically, but this can go for any champion. You want to target what you want to dodge with your ultimate, right? So, what do you want to dodge in this matchup?
Sona ult.
Right. Okay. So what else can you dodge? That's the most important one. Okay, Draven ult, Sona ult. So the one you really want to target is the Sona ult, right? Because that's the super important one. So if you guys are 2v2 all-inning and then Sona ults you and you ult her ult, then you automatically win against Draven, right? Okay. Right. Also, this Veigar just like interesting stuff going on. Teemo is pushing in Singe too. But yeah, so it does change the way you fight a little bit, right? Getting level 6, because now you know if you take if you like try and fight them and Sona ults you, you guys win because you dodge her ult with your ult, right? Theoretically speaking, because they can't really dodge Taric ult, right? And then it's just like it's pretty free. I don't know how else to describe it. You dodge one of their abilities, and then you land an ability of your own, and on top of that, you have like a billion feathers. So you should be able to win all ins, so to speak. So like for example, if they before we were like we really don't want to trade because if they walk up and they trade and they heal up, we can't do anything, right?
Right.
Now it's like if they walk up and try and trade, I'm gonna press W, hit back, right? And then we're gonna turn this into an all-in if we know it's just 2v2. And then if they try and stop us from all-inning, like how do they do that? You use your Sona ult, and they Sona ult, I ult, and then it's over. Because then you throw a billion feathers at Draven, right? And then obviously, you know, sometimes it doesn't work. You know, like what if he has flash, or what if they have exhaust or whatever? And then you say, okay, we can't turn a trade into an all-in if they have flash. But if Draven doesn't have flash, then you can, right? So there's a lot of factors to consider. But like that's my thought process when I see that we hit level 6, for example. But yeah. So he's got a death stance. Man, that's spicy. Oh boy. Oh, the dodge comes in clutch. That thing is gonna come back in like 20 seconds. Oh, you're fine. Nice. Well played. Well played. That was good. But this game looks like it's devolving rather quickly. I don't know what's going on top side, but so what's your thought process here once you've like killed Draven?
I just wanted to shove it in. I see Kayn in the mid lane. Veigar's dead. Teemo's top. I just did a bunch of damage to Sona. And I just want to try and shove and deny as much CS as I can. I think I had enough to do, you know, just one combo to push in the wave and then back.
Perfect. Yep, it sounds reasonable to me. That's exactly what I would have done.
This was kind of risky, like I know, but I saw Kayn coming. I just wanted to back immediately rather than having a chance of him getting to me, because I knew he already knew where I was. So I just wanted to go ahead and back as quick as possible.
Yeah, he couldn't reach you in time, so that was good. So the question is, why do you go bot here, or rather, are there any other alternatives you can do?
I guess I could go mid and catch that wave, but Fizz was already headed that way. I don't have any wards for the jungle, and I have Scrying Orb. I don't see anything else, because my thought was that Draven's gonna push us in. I'm gonna answer it and then head mid. Is there something different I should have done?
So there are some things to consider. It's not saying that, you know, X is always right or X is always wrong.
Right.
But there are some things that are big factors in where you want to put your lane assignments. So the first one, in my opinion, solo queue is how much pressure like what kind of mid laner do you have, right? So if you have an Azir, that guy wants to stay mid all the time. You have a Nivea, he's gonna want to stay mid all the time. What if you have a LeBlanc? Where does she want to go?
She wants to roam. Fizz wants to roam.
She wants to be in a side lane, like 24/7. Side lane, kill the AD carry, kill the support, kill someone, or push out and then go mid and kill someone mid, right? So if you have like an assassin kind of like Talon, right? Talon loves side lanes. The Ashe is AIDS, right? If you play AD carry, Talon comes for your ass, you're like, what is this? Same thing. Actually, LeBlanc. Why are this discussion of LeBlanc, right? How many times have you died to LeBlanc in a side lane?
In my Elo, not very much, to be honest.
Oh. Well,
but
anyway,
I've seen it happen a lot. I know what you're talking about.
Right. Okay, yeah. So yeah, good. You know what I'm talking about, because I see that shit too.
I see more Talon than I see LeBlanc, but yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same though, right? These side lane, these guys love side lanes, right? So Fizz is one of those champions that likes the side lane. So I would be like, do you want to take a side lane? Because against Draven, he would have more kill pressure than you would, for example, right?
Right.
And then for wave clear, you would wave clear better mid than he would, for example. So it's like, oh, seems good. Seems like a good idea.
Why is that?
Oh, because you have range, right? And you have your feathers. So the way Fizz wave clears is he uses his E and hits everything, right? And then he has the Q to get out. So Vhagar puts his ring around his minions when Fizz is doing that shit.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So yeah, can't wave clear. Okay. Right? It's hard. Not that he can't, it's hard, right? He would have to like do something like fake wave clear into like an all-in or something. I don't even know, right? It's gonna be hard. So you as Ziya would like to go mid, right? If you're playing something else, if you're playing like Vayne, for example, yeah, you want to go bot, right? Or like Twitch or anything. What other AD carries go inside lanes? I don't even know. But those are the first two that come to mind, right? Sometimes that like Ashe is really good mid because she can like run anywhere and throw an arrow, right? But maybe Ashe in a side lane too, right? If you're like a Victor mid or something. But in this case, when I see Fizz, I'm like, oh, Fizz wants a side lane, right? When I see Singe, right? Singe doesn't want to go mid. Singe wants to be in a side lane. So who's the last guy left? It's you. So that's my first thought when I see this. The second thing to consider is where are the objectives, right? What's up? The first two you think about is Dragon and Rift Herald. So if Dragon is down, then going bot may be questionable, right? So say if you were mid and Fizz was bot already, right? Fizz has pressure on Draven or whatever, so he's gonna start hitting the tower. What if you guys dance around Rift Herald and they try and like stop you? Everyone backs off. Fizz is winning 1v1 against Draven, right? Change this around. Say you have a TP bot and you go mid. It's like the same thing, except that your TP goes to Rift Herald. You take a 5v4. Draven's stuck farming bot, and you guys kill everyone. Take Rift Herald, right? So being next to the objective is important too as AD carry because you can't move, right? You can't move like someone with TP can or someone like Fizz can, right? You coming in to help after the fight is like almost over is not as good as Fizz doing it, right? So some things to take in consideration when you're trying to decide where you want to go. But maybe you're like, okay, this is going to be Inferno Dragon. We need to be here, and then we also want to pressure this tower. And Fizz is killing Vhagar, so that could be a reason why you guys want to stay bot, right? It very depends. It's very situational, but those are some things to consider. So this is some interesting fighting going on here. You guys are gonna kill this guy. He has flash probably. Oh, he's dead. Nice. What the? Damn. Vhagar just blew someone up. And now top is like getting pushed in. So what's going on here? So you came to help, right? Is what this is looking like. Okay, I would say this is very, very reasonable, right? You're within one lane's distance. People are fighting. It's turning into an all-in. You can get here in time. The fact that Wukong dies doesn't change the fact that you should have done this because he just killed himself. It's not your fault. Right. And then after though, where do you want to go? Is the question.
There's
so this is really bad.
Going on? Yeah.
Everyone wants to back out. So one thing to note about solo queue is that if you can figure out when your team wants to fight and when your team wants to run, you can dictate these pings. You can like ping forward or ping back, right? So this would be a ping back. Why?
Right, ping back. Yeah, because we don't want this fight.
Right. Why do you not want this fight?
Well, Fizz is low, Tariq's low, Wukong's dead, Teemo is top, but we got Draven on the way.
Right. Basically, it's.
Oh no! Wait, that is Draven. I'm sorry. Vygar's on the way.
Right. This is gonna be like a 3v3, but like, you guys are in no. It's like, how do you win this? You need a reason to win. Okay, maybe if this lands. Oh wow. Okay. I
actually don't think they get that kill.
This is actually turning out really good because your 0 HP Fizz found an ult. Okay, so that was pretty good.
Actually. I fucked this up though.
That's fine. Honestly, that's fine. Like we don't care about this kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
We care about the what you should be doing / why stuff happens. Like you already know what went wrong there. What went wrong here? You don't need me to tell you what went wrong here. What did you do wrong?
I shot it to the wrong side. I threw my ult forward and set it to the side to try and kill her, and I got stunned.
Okay, so then honestly, I wouldn't even fight you for this because you had to dodge this Vhagar ult anyway. So I mean, the Vhagar stun, not his ult. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about this. This is not something to worry about, right? That's not gonna lose you games. Missing a kill or two is not gonna lose you games, right? But like playing lanes.
Would you have gone for that in the first place, though?
Let me see. Like, what's going on here? Yeah. Okay, you just kill these guys. Yeah, it's impossible to lose, so you just walk forward. If it's impossible to lose, you want to fight, right? Because worst case scenario is you go even, nothing happens, And the best case scenario is you get something, right? So using your ulti is okay, right? And then you guys should do Infernal Dragon, but I don't think anyone's doing that. Oh, okay, you guys are doing Infernal Dragon. That's good. Yeah. You pushing mid is fine, right? Because if they can't stop the Infernal, you're like double dipping. This is fine. Unless they had like a jungle coming or something, right? So maybe a close call, whatever. It worked out. Yeah, this guy's here now. Oh, wow. Is he going for this fight? What's going on here?
Well,
it's like no one is...
The Singe makes an interesting call here.
Dude, it's like no one was paying attention to the screen and everyone got hit by that. Okay, yeah, you just gotta leave. Like, you can't help that, right? You just gotta leave. Yeah. Go clear bot. Sure, this is good, right? You're 4-1. This Teemo is just pushing top. What the hell?
Yeah, he ends up doing like the most damage in the game and pretty much carrying it.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So here you go bot. Right, same thing though. Same thing that we talked about. Take into consideration, like double check your lane assignments. Right, double check your lane assignments. Because that could like impact the game more than you think. And then this guy's stealing Krugs, whatever. So what is your like? Okay, so now we're in like a losing situation, right? What's the mindset here? What's the plan? What's the plan?
Like as far as how we win?
Yeah, when do you win? When do you guys win as a team?
I think our only chance to win is a 5v5 fight or getting picks.
Okay, right. You want like a fight. You want like a fight, and how do you want this fight to work? Right. Ideally speaking.
We want a good Wukong ult and basically using Taric ult. Fizz getting maybe onto the back line with his ult as well.
Right.
And then I basically just need to use my ult to not die.
The word that you use most is the winner ult. Here. Ult, right? You need ult. If no one has ultimates, you do nothing. If everyone has ultimates, you want to look for something, right? So when I see that Taric wants to look for something, I'm like, this is probably a bad idea. Unless you guys know that you have man advantage or something. And then on top of that, you guys need a ward baron somehow. So I don't know what's going on here, but this doesn't seem that great. He's just gonna E, and then he's gonna walk away. So yeah, it's kind of so basically whenever you want to do something, you also have to. This is like the next step is what are they gonna do to stop you from doing what you want to do, right? So when I saw this happening, I knew it wasn't gonna work, right? Because Javen presses E and you guys have nothing. So also keep that in consideration. Right, because he walked forward and killed himself, right? So he could have walked away and they would have taken top inhib, right? Because they would have just 4v3 top inhib. So it's also something to take in consideration when you want to do something. Think about like what they're gonna do, and if there's literally no way to win, then don't go for something. Don't go for something like this. This is dependent on him like not doing anything, right? This is dependent on him like getting hit by like. He could have just walked away. He pressed W, walked away. He didn't have to turn around for an auto attack, right? He could have just walked away, and he would have been good. He even used his E correctly, and he would have been good. All he has to do is leave, and then he's good to go, right? Like when I see this, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna walk away, go to Baron maybe. Like no one has any idea what's going on, and then this guy kills himself though, so that's interesting. Oh, this is awkward. You're gonna lose against Kayn maybe. Now, because what do you need? You need to dodge.
I think I could have won it if I flashed his knockup.
No, you can't win this, right?
You don't think?
Why do we say this? Because say you flash his knockup, and then you have no abilities. He walks away, and what do you do?
If he walks away after I flash it?
Yeah. He just walks. He goes this way, and then he comes back, and then he like walks away and shit. Like how do you win? You can't like do anything. Basically, it's like basically. I was thinking. I mean, I'm not trying to argue. I'm just what my thought is that like if I got enough feathers down and dodged his knockup, I could have won it. But I guess his ult is just gonna be too much for me in this case. Right. So the idea is, you want to put down as many feathers as possible, and then dodge his knockup with your flash, and then E him. Right.
Right.
So if you're a perfect Kayn, how do you stop that?
Ult. The E,
exactly.
Yeah.
So now on top of your plan, you have to take 0 damage, including smite, so that he can't ult. So then now we have an issue, right? So then now the plan changes to you have to dodge his knockup manually and then flash after his ult comes out, right? And then you can win. So that's how we figure out the best plan of action is that there's literally nothing Kayn can do, right? If you can complete those steps and he has no flash. There's nothing he can do, right?
Okay.
So that's how we know. Sense. But this is just one of those. I don't even like. The real issue was like
the decision to do this in the first place.
Yeah. That, and as also like if you want to talk about mechanics, that flashing his knockup is a lot harder than, or not even that, just like the whole plan we outlined is a lot harder than making sure you get high value out of your abilities, right? So what's wrong with that E? We already know.
I didn't get this. Yeah, I didn't get the stun.
Yeah, you could have just ulted and it would have been the same result, except that it would have been. How do I say this? Like you used your ult anyways, right? So,
right.
Basically, make sure. When in doubt, you hold on to it, right? When in doubt, and that'll like clean up your gameplay, right? If you only ever make clean plays, that'll become like a habit, right? If you only ever make clean plays, it'll become a very good habit. And then if people like flame you because you didn't see the play, or you couldn't, like if you saw the play but you couldn't do it in time, that's a-okay, right? It's better to make all plays that you know are gonna work and keep building on that, right, over and over until you can do that every time, versus randomly fighting and then hoping things work out, right? Because that the second option is like you're never gonna get better that way, right? You're just shooting in the dark, right? You play like 1,000 hours and then you get nowhere, right? So make sure if you want to work on mechanics for the next thing, is like make sure that every ability you use is like intentional, right? If anything surprises you, you should like play conservative, right?
Okay.
So yeah, this honestly though, this is like not a game where it's like, oh, you deserve to lose this or whatever. This is just some kind of like fiesta shit that happened when you had like a team up versus Singe top, right? And then some random shit is happening now. So it's kind of awkward. But obviously there are things you could have done better, right? The laning thing is very important because that applies to literally every game, right? Figure out how you want to play the lane. Keep that in your head 24/7. And you need to be able to do this for every game. Every game from now on. Like it sounds like a lot, but if you can do it like 10 times in a row, it'll become a habit, right? And like for me, like what happens now is that whenever I'm in champ select, I don't like go on Reddit or anything. I'm like looking at the champions and I'm like, oh, okay, how do I want to play this lane? Does the jungle matter, et cetera, right? You do it enough times, it becomes habit, right? Similar to CSing, right? You see a minion that's low, and you're like, oh, I want to CS it, right? That's a habit because when you first started playing League, that's not the first thing you thought of when you saw a low minion, right?
Right.
So it's all about building good habits, really. So all this shit is going down. It's still probably possible to win this game. You guys have some sick wombo combo. Oh, okay, what's going on here? This guy's dead. You leave him to die, right? Nothing you can do. Holy shit, dude, this Tark is he is not happy.
He's very tilted.
Yeah. So oh boy. Fizz coming in from the back. Can't do anything because he has no ult, right? So that didn't really make any sense. Oh, goodbye. Right? So this is a classic example of like this is like playing without a plan, right? Shooting in the dark. Okay, if you're playing this Fizz, how do you kill this Draven? If I have a gun to your head and I say, if you don't kill this Draven, I'm gonna kill you, how do you do it?
With his ult, landing his ult.
Yeah, but you don't have an ultimate, right?
You don't even have it, yeah.
So you're fucking dead. You're just dead, right? So there's nothing you can do. So never do something like this where it's like there's no possible way for it to work if they're like at your same skill level, right? If they're at your same skill level, there's no way this works. What can you do? Nothing that I can think of, right? So yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, the second he loses vision of him, he just walks away.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know what he's thinking. Maybe it's different if he was like strong and he could one-shot him, right? By pressing Q and W. That's a different story. But from the way this game was going, I don't think Fizz was that strong. There was no way, right? Same thing with saving abilities, right? We talked about this, but why do I say maybe you want to save your W here?
Because we might get into a fight.
Exactly. So if you fight, boom, you can't kill him. Impossible. Right? Impossible. Because the way you do damage as Xayah is your W, and then massive E damage. So you had neither there, right? Well, actually, you had maybe a root there.
Q. I had
but like
Q,
that's
but
not massive. That's not massive feathers, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you think about using abilities, think about like how quickly do you need to clear this is the real question. And it's like medium.
Not really.
Yeah. Not really. So you throw Q out. That's okay. But then if you use W basically W is like a second ultimate. Your W is so strong, it's disgusting, right? Like you have 6 items and you flash W Draven like late game, you can probably kill him before he flashes away because he can't react to that in time, right? So W is like very important on Xayah. It's like Cog W. Think of it as Cog W. It's exactly like Cog W, right? Would you fight without Cog W?
No.
Yeah, the answer should be no. The answer should be no. So yeah. So now this is just no way this fight can work. But I think the big things to take away from this replay are the laning stuff, right? Think about how you want to play the lane out, and don't like change from that plan unless something important is happening. And then the whole abilities thing, right? Every ability you use must have a reason, right? I want a hard trade, so I press W, or I'm all-inning, or I'm going to use my Q so I can set up my root next, right? So Q auto through a minion and then root immediately, something like that. I'm going to target I'm going to use my ultimate to target a specific ability, right? I'm going to use my ultimate to target Sona ult, right? And then when in doubt, save your abilities, right? If you can't really come up with something, don't use it. And then what was the other thing we talked about? Holy shit, that was a perfect example right there. So how did you kill Draven even though he was so far ahead?
Because I was 2v1 and like it's a mini fight within a fight, but I had all my abilities.
Right, you literally basically 869 damage with your W. Yeah, so W is like Cog W. Remember that. Okay.
I never realized it was considered that powerful. So that's I'll have to start taking that into consideration.
Do you watch LCS by any chance?
I haven't been watching the Worlds very much. I've been like watching it afterwards, but I do sometimes. Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull up. There was this Cloud9 versus COG moment when. Oh no. Let me see if I can find it. Not like this. Please. It was a good example. But basically, Stixxay had like 30% health as Caitlyn, and Sneaky flashed forward and killed him with 1 auto with his W on, right? And then COG lost the game because of that, right? So this is not just like like one champion specific. It's like figure out how the champion you use like does its thing, right? So Kog'Maw does his thing when he presses W. Okay, how does he kill tanks? He needs to land his Q. So all of a sudden, you know that you hold on to your Q until you know you're gonna hit them like 5 times. So then you throw out your Q. But if in any other cases, you don't just like randomly throw it out like you see most Kog'Maws do, right? Same thing with Xayah, right? Save your W, because your W is like Kog'Maw W. You don't have W, you can't fight, right?
Okay.
And then like what's another example? What other champions do you play?
Saber, I'll play Ashe, Tristana.
Okay, Saber. Okay, so how do you win as Saber against Jhin, for example? It's just 1v1.
Auto W attack reset Q.
Right. So you need an auto attack reset and you need to land your Q, right? And then what do you target with your shield?
I mean, either his root or his Q.
Right. So anything is fine. Anything is fine because it's minimal, right? His Q is probably best, but basically the big stuff is land a Q, land your auto attack W, auto attack reset, right? So if you miss your Q, you know you can't fight, right? Clean example. What's another champion? Ashe. How do you fight Ashe against Jhin? This is a classic one. Back when lethality was a thing, right? Ashe versus Jhin. How do you win? 1v1.
You have to have your Q stacked.
Exactly. You have to have your Q stacked, and obviously you have to have your ultimate, right? So you're gonna ulti in his face, and then you're gonna press Q, and he dies, right? Simple as that. And then how does Jhin win against that? Okay, he flashes your arrow. He goes for a hard trade. Then he flashes your arrow, and then he presses ultimate, and he kills you. If he knows you have no flash, right? So that's how you figure out like when you want to fight / how you want to fight, right? So with Xayah, it'd be the W and the massive feathers. Draven, it'd be if he has no axes, he can't fight, right? But if he has his axes up, he's gonna walk all over people, right? And his E, right, obviously. He needs his abilities. Basically, every champion needs all their abilities. It's just figuring out how and when to fight is like the big thing, right? So if you're playing Xayah versus Caitlyn, why do people say it's not like Caitlyn does not counter Xayah? Why would someone say that?
I don't know, actually, to be honest with you.
Let's take a thought exercise. So
okay.
Let me see if we can pull up a replay. Xayah versus Caitlyn. Here we go. Come on, give me something. What the hell is this? Okay, here we go. Pray. Boom. We got the highest level gameplay here. Okay, so we go.
Right.
We play Xayah. We got Rakan, sure, and we got Caitlyn and Xayah. Okay, let's skip to like level 3, which is where it's gonna be super evident. So we know that Xayah does a shit ton of damage when she presses W, right? And she does a shit ton of damage when she roots someone. Caitlyn does what? She needs to land EQ and hope they step on a trap. So what do you use your flash for? You target her EQ or whatever. Or if she uses it on something else, you know you can fight her, right? So at one of these points, he's going to press W and he's going to hit her, and that's an automatic win, right? If you can hit someone with Xayah, if you have W and you hit someone, you're going to win, right? That's why when Twitch comes out of stealth and he like mispositions and Xayah hits him with W, he's going to lose even though he came out of stealth, right? So literally press W and they win. Oh, okay, he's getting ganked too, so that's this is kind of a bad example, but the way he's playing it is that he's waiting until he can walk up and use W, right? And he's making sure he takes as little poke as possible because that's what Caitlyn wants to do, right? She wants to poke him out, right? So press W, landed root. Oh, wow, you win a 2v3.
Holy shit.
Right? So if you want to like break this down, the reason why that, first of all, you're not afraid of a gank. Why? If you're playing
asking me why?
Yeah. If you're playing Xayah or Rakan, you're not afraid of a gank.
Because there's he has like knock up, you have root, and when they try and chase you down, it's really easy to root people in place.
So the most important thing when a gank is coming is HP, right, and flash. So the reason why I say HP is because if you have 20 HP, he's gonna come out and smite you, right, and you die.
Right.
And the second reason is flash, right? If you have flash and you dodge his ability, you dodge Lee Sin Q, gank is done, right? You can't do anything. Or you flash Elise Cocoon, you flash Nidalee Spear, doesn't matter. You have flash and you have high HP, you're good from a gank. There are notable exceptions when you have an insane bot lane combo like Thresh Kalista and an Elise. Okay, now you're never safe from a gank. You play super safe at all times. But in this case, he doesn't give a shit because he has flash. So no matter what happens, they're gonna get away, right? And then he's like, oh, it doesn't even matter because I can land my stuff on them, right? So he can kill them before anything happens. So
and then he flashes when Rek'Sai goes on knock up to go for the kill.
Oh, did he? Oh,
I think he did.
Oh, he just flashed on attack, right?
Yeah, he just flashed on him.
Right, but the big thing here is press W, massive damage. And it's kind of weird because you have Rakan too, but Rakan was the one doing the damage, but same concept. And then he got the root off. So those two things meant that he could win. If either of those missed, that's when you back off, right? If anything misses is when you cancel any kind of play you're trying to make. So yeah, he's not afraid of a gank because of those reasons.
Gotcha.
And then he won the fight because he landed his stuff, right? So if you had no W, impossible. If you had no Q or no root, impossible, right? So by having all that stuff up, you're able to use it when you need it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then if you ever watch Sneaky play Xayah, what he does is he'll throw a Q out, right? Like sometimes, like you did against Draven sometimes, but he'll position in a way that they have to walk around it. Like he'll throw it in the middle of the wave or like cut them off so that they have to be scared of a root, right? So let's see if we can fast forward a little bit more. Okay, here we go. So what does this lane want to do? If you can walk up and press W, you win, right? And then how do you lose? You get hit by Xayah root or you get poked out. So what are they going to want to do? They're going to want to all in as soon as possible. So So he's using the Q, right, to see to make it so Caitlyn can't walk down this way, and then if he walks up, he's gonna press W and then try and root him, right? So walks up, tries to root him, and this guy's donezo. Oh wow, this is actually going pretty poorly. Let me watch this. He got hit by Xayah Q for sure. That's awkward. Oh, he got hit by. He got hit by Caitlyn. Yeah. See, so how does Caitlyn Xayah when they land their shit? So they landed more stuff than he did. So
it sounds so much more simple than it really is. If you land your shit,
that's true. It really does. It's because everyone's got like there's like 6 abilities or some shit in this lane, and you gotta keep track of all of it, right? So
right.
But it really is like tic-tac-toe, right? So if he plays so poorly that he misses everything, of course you're gonna lose, right? Oh wow, that trap was sick. Oh, and he still got killed. He's still Xayah's still dead. But this is really good for red side, so everyone dies. Let's see if we can find another fight. Right. So remember when we were like, how do you stop them from walking up and hitting you when you're level 6? You turn it into an all-in is what my theory was, right? I haven't played the Xayah versus Draven matchup in a very long time, so that's my theory on how I would do it. The instant he goes for me, I press W and then I go for an all-in. That's what he was thinking, right? And it didn't work because he got hit by everything. But his thought process is, if Caitlyn wants to walk up and poke, we're strong enough so that I can walk up, press W, and then win, right?
You can't. That's something I struggle with a lot. Is like being poked out when I have like an all-in lane. I mean, is that basically what you have to do? Is that when they go for a trade, you just try to extend the trade on them?
I mean, it depends, right?
Yeah.
It depends on like, oh, do you know where the jungler is, or does my support have to go first, right? Like what? Like you got to give me a specific example, right? And then we can work our way from there.
Okay, like I had a game where it was, I'm trying to figure out what it was. It was a silver Braum into, oh no, I just saw it. Oh. Silver Braum and a Kog'Maw Lulu. And we just got poked out and shit on.
Right. So that's a automatic loss, right? From what I'm hearing, like, what do you do if Kog'Maw presses W? You try and walk away. I don't know. And then what happens when you go on them? If you don't have the damage to kill them on the Braum stun, you lose because they turn around and auto attack you.
Yeah,
right?
So, and Lulu's shield and everything is just, I don't know. It was a hard lane, and I told the Braum, because the Braum was like standing behind me. I told him, you know, if we're gonna win this, you need to get on him and get the stun so I can land my Q auto attack. But we just ended up not being able to do it.
Right. So the first thing I noticed, if it say it's not Cog Lulu, say it's Twitch Lulu, whatever, you have like range versus melee support. So know that you don't want to take trades, right? You need Braum to land shit. Otherwise, you're just gonna lose to the Lulu EQ, right? So no matter what happens, you gotta wait until Braum can land something, or you put the lane in a position where it's almost impossible for him to miss, right? So like if you're on top of Kog'Maw, you're like, oh, he's gonna jump to me and press Q or auto attack Kog'Maw, so he can't miss, right? If you can't do one of those two things, then you don't trade, right? So what happens when you don't trade? You try and push the lane. If you can't push the lane, you just last hit, right? And then you try and set up a gank or something. But I think maybe you can try and push or something. I don't know. But it'd be really hard, right? That sounds like a hard lane. Not all lanes are meant to be won, right? So why if the lane is impossible, then why would you ever pick Saber Braum against Lulu Kog'Maw? Maybe later in the game, you can press R and then catch Kog'Maw out, right? That could be like a reason. Or 6 items in, you're gonna hit a tank and it's gonna bounce to Kog'Maw and he dies for no reason, right? So then you say, oh, okay, we're playing to scale, right? We're playing to get those bounces off, or we're playing to run someone down with Braum, right? Something like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So there's always like pros and cons to matchups and champions, right? You just have to play to your strengths and like play around their strengths, right? So maybe you know, Kog'Maw wastes W on the minion wave for some reason, and he didn't kill all the minions. And then you're like, oh shit, if we can go now, they can't do anything about it, right? We can trade away all our abilities, we can chunk him out, and then we run away before his W comes back up, right? Because we know that Kog'Maw without W can't fight. So that would be like one thing that, you know, if they make mistakes, that's how you punish, right? You have to target specific mistakes, right? So if he presses W on this wave, you know that he can't fight when it's down. So he's backing. Let me see. This is better. Let's fast forward a bit. Okay. Now level 6, right? Does this change at level 6? Does this lane change at level 6?
Yeah, a lot.
Right, a lot. That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah, a whole lot. I would say it swings more in Prey's favor.
Right, because so the plan is Caitlyn wanted to poke, Xayah wanted to poke. What happens when they try and hit Xayah?
Rakan just all ins them. He just
he fucking
all EW.
He just uses everything on their face, and then while that's happening, Xayah presses W.
Xayah's ult is almost unless Prey uses his ult prematurely, Xayah's ult is completely countered by his.
Exactly, right? So you're playing Xayah, you say I target,
I'm targeting it. Like there's like one thing that I kind of like theory crafted, like not really theory crafted, but like I have ultimates that I consider like for the fight and ults that are good for like after the fight. So like Caitlyn ult or Jinx ult are not really good for the fight, but like Vayne ult and Twitch ult are good for the fight. So like as long as we're fighting with our ultimates, we should win at level 6. You know?
Right. That's good. That's a good way to think about it. Right? It's hard for Caitlyn to get good value during a fight with her ultimate, right?
Right. Like her level 6 is not going to be as big for her as Xayah's level 6 will be.
Exactly. So lane matchup does change. So when you get to level 6, near level 6, that's when you say, okay, does this change at level 6? And then you go from there, right? So you see how they're pushing in? It's because Caitlyn can't walk up, or maybe jungle pressure is too much or something. But I would say that's one of the reasons is they just can't walk up unless they have a plan, right? Is there a way they can stop this all in from happening? Maybe they have a jungle nearby to counter, right? And then it's like, oh shit, if you all in, you're making a mistake. So what's going on here? What the? Oh, okay. He targeted the root, right? Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. He's just. It doesn't matter. So what he's doing is just. Oh, I'm just gonna auto attack this guy, and I'm waiting. He's waiting for Xayah to root, right? You're waiting. Basically, you target something. So if you have a QSS, right? Why do you buy it? Use it to target a different ability, right? So if I buy QSS on Caitlyn against Gragas, how do I use that?
Oh, wait, say it again. You target. Hold on, wait. Say it again. I'm sorry.
If you buy QSS, you're targeting specific abilities, right?
Right.
So say you buy QSS against a Gragas. So how would you target Gragas's engage?
Doesn't it work against his ult?
Right, exactly. So that means you can walk forward up to the tower and you don't give a shit if he goes on you, right? Because the instant he ults, you're gonna QSS and then jump away, right? Or maybe you're using it to target Lissandra ult, right? Or what's more prevalent? Varus ult, right? Say you're playing Kog'Maw, you're playing against Varus Thresh. You say I'm using the QSS on the hook or Varus ult, and I'm not gonna use it for anything else. So you save it until that moment and then use it, and then boom, you win, right? So he saves it for the Xayah E, and then they win, right? Because now they have no more answers. They have nothing they can do. Literally nothing you can do, right? So Xayah coming in for this fight doesn't work, right? Doesn't work. That's why this level 6, like we said, it changed a lot, right? Because you can target Xayah ult. No, you don't even have to target Xayah ult. You could have targeted anything by Xayah, and it'd be pretty good. So yeah, I'm surprised you didn't get that, but that's unlucky. Doesn't matter though, right? You played it theoretically correct. That's all we care about, right? He's playing it theoretically correct, right? Oh, he still got him, right? So that was really good by them. Yeah, this is like a good example of what it looks like, you know. Like here, he wanted to use the Q to get the E off, I think, but he miscalculated his mana, so that was pretty bad. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. People are just dying. Yeah, but let's see if we can like fast forward more. Like this is a good example to work with. If you ever like question if you're playing a champion right, this is what I do. Is I look on replays. I'm like, why am I losing with this champion? I watch other people play him and then see what they're doing differently, right? So this guy's just gonna die to a gank.
Yeah.
Oh my, that was fucking hot.
Oh, he's not dead. Holy shit. Okay,
yeah,
now he's dead.
Nuts. So how did he get this guy? He pressed W and he started auto attacking Caitlyn, right? He switched to Caitlyn immediately, and then he pressed Q and then E, right? So there's the QE combo I was talking about. So that was really clean. So what was the mistake here? What do you remember if you're playing Caitlyn? if Xayah has W, be scared, right? This could be a Kog'Maw or something. It's like similar story if this is a Kog'Maw. Maybe not as insane, right? Probably wouldn't get the kill if it was Kog'Maw unless it was like 2 items in, but same concept, right? Same concept. You can't disrespect like the opponent just because you have like numbers advantage or whatever, right? Right. So Kaylin, what did she land?
I've been killed plenty of times when that type of thing happens. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's find another example. This is good. This is good to work with, I think. Is this helping?
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
Okay, good. So then, okay, so when the mid game comes around, okay, I'm throwing like a lot of info at you, and I think you already know. We're gonna review stuff I think you should work on immediately. But this is another thing we can add on in the mid game after the laning phase is over. You need to figure out how your champion wins against the other champions, right? So we need to figure out how you win in lane, right? Or how do you not lose in lane at least, right? Now you got to figure out how do you win against all these other champions. So how do you win against Gangplank? How do you win against Xayah? How do you win against Orianna, right? So how do you win against Gangplank? Your root doesn't work on him, right? So what's the plan here? No matter what, don't get hit by barrels. And then if he walks up to Q you, you're gonna press W and then go for a big trade, right? This is assuming 1-on-1, right? And you win because when you press W, no one out damages you. Against Rek'Sai, what do? You press W when he tunnels in, and then you walk into his tunnel. So he comes out on the wrong side, right? He's too far away now. That would be your plan if this is a 1v1. Or you stay away from his range if you can't win a fight. Like he has fucking lethality or something, who knows? And against Orianna, you want to push her out, right? So you got to figure out how you play against these other champions too. Otherwise, it's just like random. Otherwise you play safe, right? When in doubt, you don't do anything. When in doubt, you hold on to your abilities until you can figure out how you want to fight, right? Because if you like, say you're playing Gangplank, right? And you have no idea how you want to fight against Ziya, and you randomly walk up to Q him, and he alls in you and you die. You're like, wait, what the hell just happened, right? You get surprised. You never want that to happen in League. So, oh, he got hit by barrel. Okay. Oh, he's gonna lose, right? He got hit by barrel. He's dead. Oh my, he's dead. Right? So that's exactly what I said. No matter what, don't get hit by barrel.
We all knew he was dead.
Yeah, exactly. So that's this. It's not. League is not a game of like. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't be surprised by anything. Nothing is new in this game. Nothing's been new for a long time, right? Maybe Eve is new, right? I don't know what Eve does yet. She kills me, sure. Now I learn. Now I know. But like none of this shit is new to us. Like you've seen Gangplank Barrel do a lot of damage. We've all seen like Xayah W do a lot of damage. So this is like a tic-tac-toe situation, right? It should be like a tic-tac-toe situation. So the instant you see someone get like set up, right? They get hit by a win condition, you know they lost, right? Theoretically speaking. Right? Unless he had like mad damage or something, right? So yeah, that was just poorly played by him. He should have known that he was just dead. He knew he was dead. So yeah. So how do you prevent this kind of like super narrow situations? You have your support nearby, so it's a 2v1, right? So it's unfair, right? That would be the best bet, but
and just be backed off unless he's there.
Right. Or you can get hit by on purpose, right? And that'd be a bet,
okay,
for example, right? Always watch out for that as well. But and then you say, oh, Rek'Sai is here, so you get hit by on purpose, you might lose, something like that. So League is like super complicated. So yeah, super complicated, right? But yeah, basically figure all this shit out before the fight happens, right? That way you will always win, or you know that you're always gonna lose, so you don't take the fight, right? Let's fast forward to more prey stuff. Here we go. What's wrong with this camera? What's going on? Okay, so this is a random team fight coming out. So if I was prey, I don't have ultimate. What do? I play back. I press W when I can hit a target like really hard. For free. Okay, so they're just running. He pressed W. They just want to run. Right? They don't want this fight. Right? Everyone. They kind of pieced out because if you press W for the movement speed, you know you can't fight after. Right? If you use W for the movement speed, you can't fight after. You have no damage. So now your mindset is I look to root until my W's back up. Right? Just Q auto root if you can even do that. Right? You can't even do that. So playing safe until his W's back up. So whatever this is, he can't really help, right? He has zero contribution to the fight because he has nothing. Makes sense, right? Doesn't surprise us because this is what we figured out beforehand. You're sieging, right? So when you're sieging, this is like even more advanced, but when you're sieging, you ask yourself, how do they stop me, right? So how do they stop you? They're gonna like do Gangplank shit. How do I stop that? you dodge it, you kill the barrel, you all in, or you ultimate to run away or something like that. You have to have something though. He's gonna ult this wave, sure. Everyone's gonna back off. How do you know you can't die? Why is he not scared of Xayah here?
It's kind of pixelated, but it looks like he has his ultimate.
Yeah. He has his ultimate now. So any kind of all in by Rek'Sai probably doesn't work, right?
And he has flash and heal, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has flash and heal too. So what did he target? He targeted a barrel. You see this? You always want to target something, right? League is not about like reaction timing. It's not like on reaction. It's like you know he's gonna do it, so you're prepared for it.
It's knowing what to look for before it happens.
Exactly. Prediction, right? Prediction. He knew that barrel was coming out, so he ulted it. Maybe it wasn't a good plan, but that was his plan, and that was the best he could come up with at the time. So you always need to come up with something, though. Wow. Okay. Good. What is that? Caitlyn block. Oh, this is awkward. That's not gonna work. How do we know it didn't work?
You mean just the fact that he missed it, or that the fight wasn't going to work in the first place?
Yeah, the fight wasn't going to work because he missed, right? So that's how you know you want to back off immediately, right? Most players would just keep fighting, right? C champion, hit champion. That's not us. Nah, that's not us. You know you want to fight when you land certain abilities or when you get hit by certain abilities, right?
And if you miss those, then you lose it.
You lose 100%, right? You know it goes even or you lose. So that's the worst case scenario. So he's trying to hit this tower. That's kind of risky. So yeah, back off. So I say it's kind of risky because you can't hit it without getting hit by Caitlyn. And if you have no ultimate, it's kind of hard to stop them from chasing you down, etc., etc. Let's fast forward to another fight. These are good examples, I feel like. So he pushed mid in. What are you doing now? This is funny because he's the one pushing Caitlyn in, right? Instead of Caitlyn, that's like kind of one of the reasons why we say, or people say, Caitlyn is not a counter to Ziya, because if Ziya presses W, Caitlyn's gonna die. Unless Caitlyn has some sort of plan, right? Ziya doesn't have flash, and Caitlyn has like an EW combo ready or something like that. I don't know. You gotta come up with something though. And what's going on here? I don't know what's going on here. Skip forward all this stuff. I'd say I couldn't really tell from the replay we watched because that was mostly laning, right? But if you also want to like study map movements, these are a good way to do it, right? Push out before you go do something, like push, go ward, push, go rotate, something like that. But the lane assignments are really important, right? Like we talked about in the in your replay, figuring out where you guys want to go. So in this team comp, where do people want to go on this side?
I'm not sure if I know the answer to that question. I'm kind of confused on the question, so.
Oh, okay. So, in terms of lane assignments, where do the carries want to go? Right? Where do the solo laners and the AD carry? What lanes do they want to go to?
Kled wants to go to a side lane. Lee kind of wants to be hiding off on the side of like where everyone's grouped. So if everyone's grouped mid, then Lee Sin kind of wants to be on the sides of that. Kled wants to be in a completely other lane, pushing against Gangplank, and then everyone else pretty much wants to be grouped, right? Because Cassiopeia doesn't have a lot of rotation power. Rakan maybe, but he should be sticking by his carries. And Ziya doesn't have rotation either.
So the big thing to note about lane assignments is that the solo laners and the AD carry, everyone needs their own lane of farm, right? Otherwise you're losing. Otherwise you're losing the game. I'm sorry. I mean, does Cassio not want to like go to a side lane and push it out and then come mid to like siege mid or something like that, or meet a Baron or whatever they're meeting? It depends, right? It always depends. Okay. But Cassiopeia can do either side lane or mid lane. That's the important thing here, is that where can these champions go? Like Ziya can go either, right? So that's good to know. And then Cassiopeia can go either, right? So that's good to know. But she probably wants to go
like
mid.
if I was their coach right now, what I would say is that Rakan and Ziya go mid, because then they're only one lane away from whatever happens, and Cassiopeia go top, Kled go bot because he has TP for the Baron.
Right. That sounds like a good plan. Thought out. Like that sounds good to me. Right. Sounds good to me. But then what if Ziya is 10-0, right? Maybe you want to put her somewhere else. I don't know. It just depends. You just got to come up with like reasons is the big thing. And now this fight is happening. Kled just engages. Oh, if you're Ziya, and you can press W and hit someone that's not a tank, they're gonna die, right? They're just gonna get blown up. Same thing with Kog'Maw, right? So keep that in mind for your abilities. I don't know what this is going on. He ulted to try and snipe this guy. Yada yada. Just gonna go Baron. Let's see if we can find another fight. Oh, he's backing. Let's get past. Any questions, by the way, or anything you want to say?
Not really in particular.
Okay, good. Yeah, so it looks like he wants to stay in the side lane because he's winning out 2v2, right? It looks like they haven't been able to answer this kind of all-in pressure, so he's just gonna take towers, right? He's gonna keep going to side lane.
They're just doing like a 3-2 split, basically.
And he rotates mid while he's clearing bot. Oh, taking the tower. So if you use W on the tower, you know that you usually don't want to fight after, right? Because you don't have a W. So, oh wow, oh Jesus. Right, so he can't join this unless he has W. He was trying to join it, didn't really work. Oh, you got like kind of a root. That wasn't that great. Basically couldn't do anything because he didn't have W. So, when in doubt, right? When in doubt, don't use it. When in doubt. Oh, that was awkward. All right, that was really bad. Why do we say that?
He didn't get a root, and he just took a bunch of damage. Yeah, I mean, he's probably not going to get this kill anyways.
Right. He needed to like WQ auto attack or something. I mean WQE or something like that, right? But if you only got one auto attack off his W, you know you can't win, right? Unless you have some kind of crazy route going on. So comes back for the tower. He's going for poke on the Caitlyn. When you have like ER, you can do that, right? You can go for low value QE, just to poke them if you know they have no sustain, because you have cooldown, right? This is kind of awkward. Oh, he's dead. Wow, that's awkward. Everyone has to run now. Oh shit. Yeah, everyone's got to run because someone died. Oh, he's gonna push another wave. But yeah, if you watch all these fights, nothing surprises us, right? It's all by what we were coming up with beforehand. If something surprises us, that's what you put in a montage, right? Let's see what's going on in these fights. Okay, here we go. You got hit by something. That was a panic ult. Right, yeah. That was a panic ult. So if you get surprised, you're gonna lose, right? So if they had
but he dodged the Orianna ult with it. He was gonna die without it, wouldn't he?
That was really good. Okay, all right. But you know, this is still considered a mistake, right? Because unless you
had to use it that way,
right? Unless you're targeting it on purpose, you always consider it a mistake. If anything you do that's not on purpose is like, you can't say that's like your skill, right? Because that's just like kind of luck. That's like kind of flipping a coin. So unless he had this in mind, right? Say, you know, this is a valid reasoning when you say you kill the AD carry, so you play like a dumbass and you use your ultimate to bait out more abilities. That is valid like reasoning. But if this is like a bronze player and he's just like, oh, panic ult, and you say, oh, that's me, I'm good. That's not quite the same.
Right.
There's a difference. Right. There's a difference because the player, the first guy will always do it 10 times, 100 times. He'll get it 90 times, right? Maybe he'll make like an error in reaction time and he'll get it wrong like 10 times, but the bronze player is going to get it like 20 times out of 100, right? So the difference is consistency, really. If you're a player that can like do, I don't even know, basically I can't even think of an exception to that, right? Everything you do has to be like well thought out, if that makes any sense. Yeah, they're just gonna win this game, I guess. It's over. There's no more fights, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, once they got past a certain point, he said, I don't need to worry about the poke damage, or maybe not worry about it, but if Caitlyn comes up to poke me, I'm going to press W, and we're going to turn it into a big trade, and then we're going to back off, right? That was if I was him, that's what I was thinking, right? And then early levels, you're like, oh, Rakan can't knock up yet? Okay, so you do nothing for the first 3 levels. That's why I was like, let's look at level 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you have to get pushing because you can't win, right? You can't win against Caitlyn Xayah as Xayah Rakan, unless it's level 1 and you can get the W off. That's like, otherwise you're just gonna get poked out, right? So don't take poke. Wait until you are strong and then capitalize on that, right? So
that makes sense.
I think for you, from what we saw from your replay, I think the biggest thing to work on for like your next 10 games, I want you to keep this in your head, like for the next 10 games, is during the laning phase, how do I want this lane to play out, right? How exactly, right? I don't want to take trades because XYZ, right? And then make sure that you don't deviate from that strategy unless something changes, right? Unless you have a jungler, unless you have a TP, someone's dying mid, you have a super fed LeBlanc mid so you can play stupid because she can roam down, or you have like a Katarina so you want to trade super hard and she can come up and clean up kills, whatever. Unless there's something like an exception to the rule, don't change your strategy, right? Stick to your strategy and then think about a level 6. Think about the level 6. Does that change? Some things we can do to like figure out how to play these lanes. Okay, so let's come up with some examples. Like in this game, here we go. Ashe Janna versus Tristana Thresh. How do you play this lane
out? Want to take quick trades, but avoid. Basically, I want to avoid the Thresh E and Q, and take quick trades and not let the bomb get too big on me. If I go for an extended trade, I need to have my Q stacked and have Janna shield.
Right. So you want to take quick trades? Why?
Because Tristana bomb's really good in extended trade, and it's probably going to out damage me.
Exactly. So
I want to look for like W auto pokes or auto W pokes.
Right. And then make sure that you're like away from Thresh flay range, right? Because then you're gonna die if they have an extra person, etc. But basically, exactly what you said, right? And then does this change at level 6?
I mean that aspect of it, not really, unless I can land my ultimate.
Right, not really, right? You still want to take poke trades and then wait until you have a good chance to use your ultimate, but it's still the same thing. Their all-in is really strong. Maybe you have general now. If you can tank Hook, for example, and Flay, then they can't really stop Janna ult without Tristana ult, something like that. But in general, you guys are poking them out, right? You want to take as many trades as possible, and you don't want to get all in, right? So the thing, if I was you, I would be thinking trades with Janna shield, and then don't do anything if I get a bomb on me, right? And then stay away from flash flay range, because that leads into lantern, right? So if we watch your replay, you would probably spot all the things we just discussed, right? How about this one? Caitlyn Janna versus Tristana Morgana.
It's basically a early lane poke lane, and if I get rooted, then there's really no hope for me. If I get rooted, that's like a lot of my health.
Say you are targeting the root. Okay, so say you get rooted on purpose. What can you do to win?
If I get rooted on purpose,
right?
I mean, just focus the Tristana. Use my E to kind of back off a little bit.
Right. Focus the Tristana, right? So say, pretend that this Morgana is like Thresh or something, right? Thresh hooks Caitlyn, right? And you're playing Janna. What's your first thought? Your first thought is, I need to stop this Tristana from killing my AD carry, right? So you target the enemy AD carry. So if you're playing Caitlyn, so this is one of the reasons why Caitlyn's super hard mechanically, is that if you target the bind, what do? You put a trap right between you and Tristana so she can't go on you, right? Something like that.
Okay.
You always have to have a plan though. So if you always get caught out by something like that, and you don't have a plan, you're like dunzo. Nothing you can do. This is a really hard lane, right? And it shows. Right. It shows that it was a really hard lane. Because what happens when you get binded? Janna goes for Tristana, and then Morgana puts a shield on Tristana, so can't do anything. Right. And then what's the counter to that? You need to put a trap down so that you can do massive damage to trap, and then just like land EQ on Tristana and make sure she doesn't get a bomb reset. So really hard lane, right? So what do you need to do? You need to take small trades against Morgana with your shield, and that's about it. And you make sure you don't get hit by bind no matter what. And then last one, we'll do this one last, just so we know you can do it. If you're playing Ziya Bard versus Vayne Lulu, how do you play this lane out?
This is like a really hard engage lane. Like if we want, our ideal fight is that Bard lands a Q stun and then take a really big all-in trade against the Vayne, because I can follow up with my root. We basically lose it if I get knocked into a wall and Bard doesn't have stun to save me, basically.
So if you guys have full health and Bard lands a stun and you go for a root, do you want to fight after that?
And Lulu's right next to her?
Yeah, this is pre-6. Yeah.
No.
Right. Because they're going to run you down. You have no more damage, right? So
right.
It's good, right? If you land a stun, you get that quick root, maybe an auto attack and you're out, right? That's what you need to know. Unless you think you can finish it within like a next 2 auto attacks, right? So against this lane, do you want to trade?
Small trades? No.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Like I wouldn't say I would say like a medium trade. Like enough to get through the Lulu shield with the Bard stun, but like little like tit for tat pokes, not really, because they're gonna have Lulu shield that I'm not gonna have.
Okay, say Vayne walks up to you. Do you hit back?
Yes. Yeah.
But what happens when Lulu shields Vayne?
When Lulu shields Vayne?
Right. To like nullify your auto attack and to make her stronger.
Can I not just press W and get more damage on?
Right. So okay, you press W to get more damage on, and then Vayne's passive is in effect. So you guys are hitting each other. And then they have like your W is not going to do 1,000 damage, right? In the early game, it's going to do like 300 maybe. So it's really good,
right?
But it's not going to out damage her, right?
Right.
So then what? You go for a root, right?
And
then what happens? If you're a Vayne, what do you do?
Q away from it.
Exactly. You target the root with your tumble. So we know that this lane you absolutely don't want to take trades, right? And then you can only go for a root on Vayne if she's stunned or she doesn't have Q. So
okay, so basically, me going on the Vayne would be dependent on the Bard in this game. Not saying if he's good or bad, but like if he lands his stun, that allows me to take trades. But otherwise, I don't really necessarily want to because of Lulu's shield.
Exactly, he has to go first. Is the big thing to note. And then it's like, why do you pick this lane? So why do you pick this lane?
Why would I pick this lane? It's
like, what is Bard's strengths? How do you turn this lane into Bard's strengths? Because you can't take any trades. They're just gonna push you in. So how do you stop that? If Bard can't like find a Q.
If he can't find his stuff?
Yeah. Is there anything else like Bard can do?
Pre-6?
Yeah, pre-6.
I mean, he has a heal that he can stack up, so I can. I mean, I guess technically we have more sustain than them. Like we have sustain, but they have shield.
Yeah, I would count Bard sustain as sustain, right?
Okay.
That's just me.
I don't see anything like if he's not landing his stuns that we could do pre-6.
So if you know they're gonna push you in, and you can for some reason set up like match their push or like try and bait them into a fight near tower, Bard can like journey your support. Yeah,
jungler.
Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're jungler, right? You're jungler, or something along those effect, right? But those are the things you keep in mind in the lane phase. Is you figure out like in the champion sec that you cannot win a trade, right? It's actually impossible. It's actually impossible because you have no ignite. So if they're full health, you'll automatically lose. Pretty much. You have to take super big poke where he lands a stun, you get Q auto attack, root, and you run away. Right? That's really good. You do that again and again, and then you can all in. But in this case, is you can't trade against Lulu, right? Also, what is this guy's name? Oh, Jesus. Anyways, that's how you figure out like the laning phase. And if anything like goes wrong, so say you played out the lane phase with your idea in mind, right? You hit back, and then you're like, oh shit, I took a bunch of damage. That's how you know that you don't want to trade. Right? That's how you figure out there's like nothing you could have done. Right? There's actually nothing you could have done because you guys auto attack trade, and then Lulu shields her Vayne, and then if she tumbles out of your root, then you're like, oh shit, now I know I can't use my root unless she has no tumble, right? That'd be the way to go. So that's what I want you to work on for like the next 10 games, is figuring this stuff out, right? This how do you want the laning phase to go, right? How does my champion win, right? And make sure you don't like use your abilities unless you have very specific reasons to do so. Like using W for mad damage. You're like, I'm gonna all in, or I'm gonna use it for movement speed and I'm gonna run away, or I'm gonna use my Q to in combination with my E to get a surprise root, or I'm going to use it to zone them from the wave, right? You need a reason. Always have a reason. Otherwise, you don't use an ability. And then figure out how you want to play the lane and play accordingly, right? So here's a good example. Let me see if I can find an example of what I'm talking about here. How do I... Hold on. We're going to stop the recording here, if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine.